Hey, wrestling fans, welcome to the One Wing Wrestling Podcast, where we help you navigate the complex world of pro wrestling, bring you the best matches, world-class wrestlers, and news you can count on. At One Wing Wrestling, we bring the elite to you. My name is Krishna and joining me, as always, is Mr. Bill Cupbush. Bill, how's it going?
Krishna, what do we make fun of Tony Khan for the most?
Massive announcements.
Massive announcements, right? Because he hypes massive announcements for Dynamite. Then he goes on and he delivers not massive announcements. he announced that new show, right? That kind of stuff. But as always, before we go live here for our prediction show, I always check the AEW Twitter just to see if there's announced matches or something. And you know what I was met with tonight?
Probably with a massive announcement.
I was met with a massive announcement because coming to Toronto, Ontario, to the actual 19,000 seat Scotiabank Arena, not the 2,000 seat shack and exhibition place, but the 19,000 seat Scotiabank Arena, is on June 25th, which, by the way, people, just happens to be my birthday and just happens to be 2 days after Krishna's birthday. Forbidden Door 2. Forbidden Door 2.
I when you sent me the tweet, I actually thought it was a joke. I thought it was like a fan tweet. Someone just made it up. And you're right. When I noticed as well, it was the AEW Twitter account, I was blown away. Like, I mean, this announcement, if Tony Khan had said today, I'm going to be making a massive announcement, had this been announced during the show, I would have lost my mind.
I would just freaked out.
Are you kidding me? I know. Like obviously, guys, us being Canadians, like, this is big. Like, we complained a lot about the previous show at the Coca-Cola Coliseum, which sold out in minutes. But AEW, on top of announcing Forbidden Door 2 in Toronto, has announced a 6-show Canadian summer tour, which they're doing with Dynamite, and I guess House Rules is gonna be not here, but in, like, Alberta and stuff like that.
Hamilton,
yeah. Dynamite oddly gonna be in Hamilton. No offense to the Hammer, but Hamilton. Anyways, again, like, I am shocked. I am actually absolutely blown away by this. You know me, we will try to get tickets once again to this event. I'm speechless. I'm actually, when I saw Forbidden Door 2 read Scotiabank Arena, Toronto, Ontario, I'm like, no, this is not real. Like, this is probably AEW's biggest. Now, I know it's AEW / New Japan, but their biggest event. Like, remember last year, I shouldn't say everyone, a lot of people were hurt, right? And we'll talk about a certain injury maybe today, but this is craziness. Like, this is absolutely nuts. Like, I don't know what to say else about it.
Could we get Ospreay Omega 2?
That was the injury I was gonna talk about, the Ospreay injury today. But yeah, we definitely could get Ospreay, because this is June. Ospreay is going to be on the shelf for about 2 months. I think they had said 2 months. Guys, we're in March. We're in March right now. So I'm not going to go out and guarantee. You know what? No. Yes, we will get Ospreay Omega 2 here. What else could you put on here? Like you had the match in January. There's been that lull, right? I'm sorry, people are kind of forgetting, right? You need to bring this back, right? And if you're New Japan and AEW, where else can Kenny Omega potentially lose? Right here in Toronto, like in his, like, home country, right? Like, I mean, this is massive. Like, Bryan Danielson isn't hurt. All these people, Bill, I don't know what to say. Like, I'm
Aussie
speechless.
Open versus the Bucks, perhaps.
Anything. And, like, at this point, like, we don't have fill-in matches anymore, right? Everyone who was injured last year, they're okay, knock on wood, right now, right? So like, we knew from, like, last year at the beginning, we knew Kenny Omega was not returning. He came out and said he's not returning, right? Because of his injuries. He's back. Could you imagine watching Omega Osprey? Even sitting at the back, I wouldn't care.
I know,
Right?
no kidding.
The atmosphere there would be absolutely.
And to think it could be surrounded by matches like, Julia versus Jamie Hayter.
Hey, and anything is Forbidden Door. Anything is possible, right?
And look, I'm going to advocate for it right now. I want Hiromu Takahashi taking on Orange Cassidy. I do. That would be an amazing match. It would be an absolutely amazing match.
So one thing they did say is that last year when they kind of had the Forbidden Door,
you're just going to ignore that Hiromu Takahashi versus Orange Cassidy.
Well, you know me. I love Orange Cassidy. I would any.
I didn't say Hiroshi Tanahashi. I said Hiromu
Takahashi versus Orange Cassidy. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, no. So at first I thought you said Tanahashi. I'm like, why would say Tanahashi?
No, I would not want Hiroshi Tanahashi versus Orange Cassidy.
Like maybe if it's a full-on comedy match. Maybe?
Oh yeah, a comedy match, they'd be great. Yeah, but no, I mean,
Takahashi's awesome. He's good,
and he can do comedy too. So he would fit in, I think, really well with Orange Cassidy.
Yeah, I'm still beside myself with this announcement. Like it seemed too good to be true, and I still like I literally came home and I was going through like some articles on it, and all they're talking about is the return of Forbidden Door in Toronto. Like that's the biggest thing. So I'm like, if we got to try to get tickets to the show.
We got to try, but even if we can't, it will be huge.
It'll in our hometown. It'll be. I'm just excited, right? I'm so excited that I can't believe it's coming to Toronto. Like, wow.
Yep.
Wow.
I know. And to top it off, they are actually in Canada tonight.
They are.
Because we do have a show that we need to preview. Because here on, one I almost called us All Elite Wrestling. One Winged Wrestling.
We are All Elite Wrestling.
Yeah, exactly. We are going to tonight. We're gonna what we do on these Wednesday shows. We preview. Sorry, I'm like so beside myself right now. Like on my birthday of all days, right? Yeah. I mean, I'm just like, my God, man. Anyway, deep breath, Bill. Get it back. Let's do this on One Winged Wrestling. What we do on this show is we're going to preview AEW Dynamite tonight. Go through the card, what we like, what we might not like. See what we might think the match of the night's going to be. Going to go watch the show right along with the rest of you. Come back. We're going to review the show, see if our expectations were met, exceeded, not met, whatever. But most importantly, did anything on the show reach the all-important Omega level? So we have a show tonight coming to us from Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. And as Chris Jericho once informed a fan at ringside who yelled at him, "Go back to Toronto, I'm from Winnipeg, you idiot." This is Chris Jericho's hometown. Yeah. It is also the hometown to one Kenny Omega.
Oh, Kenneth.
And it is also the hometown to one Don Callis. Although I think Don Callis was born in Saskatoon or something, and he moved to Winnipeg quite young and was raised there.
Same thing as Jericho. Jericho was born in the U.S., but moved to
he was born in New York. Yes. Yeah. And also the home of Rowdy Roddy Piper.
Which when you said that last week, I was like, how did we not know Piper was Canadian? How did we not know that? I thought he was American for the life of me. I thought this guy was American.
Oh yeah, so did I. And this blows my mind because look, I am a child of the 80s, right? I grew up in the 80s. I was born in the 70s, right? I should know that Piper's Canadian, right? Like, duh. So I know this now, but I mean, dude, what's in the water in Winnipeg?
You know what? I like producing the wrestlers it has. I don't know.
Yeah, I know, right?
Because if you think about it, Stu Hart's dungeon is it Winnipeg or is it no, it's not Calgary, Alberta, because because the Calgary Hitman, right? Yeah, I don't get it. I don't understand. Like, yes, and Jericho, I think, trained with Stu Hart, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh yeah, yeah, he was in the dungeon.
Like, I mean, amazing. Like, hometown. Like, this is the show. Like I would have wanted in Toronto when
Yes,
they
I
came
know,
the first
right?
time.
Oh my god.
And it's amazing. Like this announcement, Tony Khan should have saved it for the show.
Oh
Because can you imagine the audience eruption if when this was announced?
Oh, Krishna, it's Winnipeg. They announce it's in Toronto. They're not getting
Oh.
cheers.
Well, but there's a Canadian tour, right? So there are shows that are going to be around there. So
Dude,
I mean,
Regina is not that close to Winnipeg.
they're not gonna get the big show, but I mean, they announce anyways, like it's a great homecoming show. Like I again looking at the card, there are two matches on here that I think are going to be absolutely phenomenal. And we'll get into it, but like,
yep.
I'm excited.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm beyond belief hyped, man. It's just crazy. There's so much good stuff going on just in the world of wrestling right now. I'm almost like a giddy little child on Christmas. So except for the Will Ospreay injury, but beyond that
sucks.
But so hey, he's taken time off to get healed. That's smart. That's a little different than what he used to do. He used to work through a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So anyway, AEW Dynamite comes to us, not like I just said, Winnipeg at the Canada Life Center. This is an arena that seats, and I was going to bitch about this, that it seats 16,000. I don't care now. We're getting Forbidden Door 2 at the Scotiabank Arena, so who cares? Okay, so we have a couple segments before
just sorry to interrupt, Bill, but just to let people know why we're complaining about the arena size, because when AEW came with Dynamite to Toronto, they filled a 3,000 seat arena. Yeah. That's what they filled in Toronto.
Yes.
So yes,
exactly.
Please continue.
So I was very bitter that they went to a large arena in Winnipeg, but Tony made good on it. Tony made good on it. So we're good. We're good, Tony. You and I we're friends again. So anyway, the first thing we're going to talk about is AEW World Champion MJF is having a bar mitzvah celebration in Winnipeg.
Sports entertainment, but not the sports entertainment I like JAS. You know what I mean? And I'm sorry, when JAS are sports entertainers. When do they really celebrate a lot of stuff? Like they do, they come out and do their little like stuff, but when have they ever gotten like they're gonna have a huge celebration? They're always interrupted and stuff happens. No. The what's it called? Like Castor and Bowens, right? They go out every time the Acclaim goes out. They have these huge celebrations that last forever, right? And we're like, okay, they're gonna get jumped now. They're gonna get jumped now, and nothing ever happens. I hope that this sets up MJF's next feud, right? I don't want Danielson to come back right now. Danielson needs to stay away for a little bit, right? I hope this sets up MJF's next feud, because I don't know. Do you know who MJF's going up against? Or
no idea.
Okay, so hopefully, booked well, this is going to be an interruption by someone who's going to challenge for that belt.
Yes. Now, I guess the question is, now that we know Forbidden Door is coming, and that's our next big pay-per-view. That is the next big pay-per-view, isn't it? Is there one before that?
No, there is the one. Wait, is there another one? March, April, May. Yes, there's one in May, isn't there? There's All In. It's always like Double or Nothing. Double or Nothing.
Double or Nothing. So this will be his challenger at Double or Nothing. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Does that mean we're getting MJF and Okada at Forbidden Door? Anyway, sorry. I'm clearly stuck on Forbidden Door. Sorry,
yeah. So
guys.
we'll say we're gonna be talking about Forbidden Door until it actually happens. Let's be real here. In that case, if we do, MJF drops the belt to Okada. Or it's a no contest, right? Because Okada's not going to lose, and last year we had Mox win everything, right? So you can't keep just having AEW winning everything. It doesn't make it. It becomes predictable, right?
I think this is New Japan's turn this year.
Same.
Kind of
I was going to say the same thing.
Yeah.
But is it their turn in terms of disqualification style wins, as in we know who we're dealing with here, right? But we're getting sidetracked. Yes,
we are. Let's go back to MJF's bar mitzvah celebration. So his next opponent,
I don't care about this bar mitzvah. I just care about who's up next.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, and it's that's kind of the way I look at it too, right? Like the celebration is gonna be what he's just gonna insult people and hate on Canada and whatever, right? I kind of don't care. I don't really care
Same.
about this segment. I don't like stuff like this generally unless Jericho's running the show. Um, for whatever reason, when Jericho does this stuff, it's hilarious, and when everyone else
Yes.
does it, it's
Th-
lame as F. Or
It's
the elite. The elite could pull something like this off too if they did it BTE style,
yeah,
but
that's true.
otherwise.
Yeah,
Anyway, I'm sidetracking.
the problem is that Jericho, I don't know what it is. He's it's and we do obviously we love Chris Jericho, but like there are some things that don't land with him
Mhm.
sometimes,
Yeah,
right?
true.
But he quickly corrects,
Mhm.
quickly, right? Because think about it. We went from Chris Jericho making fun of the shape of Daddy Magic's head. He's like, this guy's
Mhm.
a square head,
Yeah.
right? To him being part of the Jericho Appreciation Society,
Yeah.
right? Like that was a total 180 and it works. It
Mhm.
just works,
Oh yeah,
right?
heck yeah.
So yeah, like MJF, his things just fall flat. Like all these little celebrations and these little things, and sometimes his stories, I'm like, okay, come on, dude, like whatever,
Mhm.
sure. Like
Yeah,
it's
I'm sure we're
kind of
getting
getting
his bar
boring.
mitzvah story tonight. Yeah,
Great.
I know, right? So that's what I'm expecting. Bar mitzvah story. And if he is interrupted, it's going to be by Jungle Boy.
You, you know what? He did call out the pillars, right?
Hmm.
I you know what? I'm gonna let you take Jungle Boy. I'm gonna go Darby Allen.
Oh yeah, Darby Allin did recently say he wants to go out with a bang, like he wants to
Hmm.
retire now, right?
Yeah,
But
crazy Darby Allen, right?
yeah, no, that you know what? That's not bad either. So yeah, I think it's gonna be one of
Sunday,
those two guys.
Sunday, May 28th, Double or Nothing.
Okay.
Yeah,
So 1 month before Forbidden Door. Cool,
yeah,
cool, cool. Okay, so that takes us to segment number 2. We'll hear from the Outcasts, which is now apparently the name for Ruby Soho, Tony Storm, and Saraya.
yeah. I heard about this. I heard the trademark a couple days ago. I guess the outcasts, the outsiders, the outhouse, whatever you want to call it, right?
Yeah.
Um, uh, I um, I hope for more. And I don't mean that in terms of like I want more of the same. I
Hmm.
hope that they do something different. Right now, listen. I get your complaints last week about the whole Ruby Soho blaming the fans. Now, don't get me wrong. I agree with you, but I also think that you know what, like realistically speaking, it's the truth, right? Because Tony Khan plays whatever the fans like. Guess what? He brought these people in thinking that they were going to be over with the fans. Not so much. So he kind of buried them, right? So them calling it out, realistically, they should have called out Tony Khan on that one, right? But they're not going to, right? They're not
Right.
going to. But I get where Ruby was going. That's what I mean is I do want more. I want more of a story. I want more of like a drive. I want them to like have a challenge with Britt and Hater and stuff like that, right? And make it real, like make it something I care about. Because right now I'm kind of like,
Hmm.
it's okay, I guess. The women are doing something, sure, right?
Yeah.
But it's not like they should be challenging the men. Like the storylines should be challenging the men, right?
Yeah.
Um, so
This is
yeah,
wrestling. It's not something else, right? So like, yeah,
yeah,
the women's storyline should be as good as the men's.
yeah,
You can do that. Hello, Stardom exists. Yes, I will continue to name drop Stardom at every possible opportunity.
of course.
Of course. Yeah, no, I hope this is going to be good. I really
Mhm.
do. I hope they come out and cut like just a really, because you're right. You nailed it on the head. The one difference between what Ruby Soho said last week and the classic, oh,
Mhm.
it's the fans, is that it really
It's true.
was the fans, right? I mean, like when she beat Chris Statlander, they did boo the hell out of her, right? And she
Mhm.
was supposed to be this
Mhm.
beloved baby face, right?
Yeah,
So yeah, she's not wrong in what she said. So
no.
at least that one was grounded in some truth. So it was a cutting a promo against the fans that, in spite of the fact I'm tired of hearing, oh, I'm going heel, so I'm going to cut a promo against the fans.
Yeah.
Fine. At least it was grounded in some truth. But no, I think that I would like to see something just like you said, real. I want to see something focused, and I want to see something that builds an actual story, right? Like let's build this up. Right, I'm not going to ask for like Julia versus Maya Yukihi levels of like heat, Maya Yukihi levels of heat and hatred, but
Mhm.
something would be nice.
And I'm not pointing fingers at anyone here, but I'm saying what the problem here is that there's a fear, and maybe this is just in general for wrestling, right?
Mhm,
That I built like most of the time I think people think that if they don't insult the fans, and this is the story writers, if the
mhm,
fans are not insulted, the fans may actually side with the bad guys, right?
mhm.
So they're kind of thinking, oh, the fans are not intelligent enough to kind of make those distinctions. But it's the ones that don't and that do like the things you hate and like stuff like that. Those are the ones that really build up. Go out there and insult the fans. The fans don't care. They'll
Mhm.
boo in their hometown, but everyone else on TV on the like sitting down laughing. No one cares, right?
Yep.
So like this is just again wrestling trope 101. Like let's go out and insult the fans.
Yes.
I hope that's not the case tonight. I really
Yeah,
do.
I hope there's a point. Like I said, story, give me a point. That's all the point I want. And just like I'm really hoping the debut of QT Marshall's QTV has a point.
I don't know. I don't know what
I
this is
have
gonna
no
be,
idea.
right? QTV, like he's supposed to I guess he's coming out to explain himself,
Mhm.
right? Um I don't know. Like, is this like a Miz TV thing? Is this like
Oh, please
I don't
no.
know, right? I don't know what this is. Like, is it that because we don't like I say we AEW, AEW doesn't have any segments like that. Like WWE has like 10 segments of the same thing, right?
Mhm.
AEW's like, hey, we don't even have one. Should we have something, right? I don't know. I don't know. I just don't even. I have no clue what QTV is. But I like QT Marshall, so I'm gonna give it a chance here.
Marshall.
Sorry, UT Marshall. And I like him because Will Hobbs is now the champion.
Yes, and they
And
go
that's
well
awesome.
together. So yeah, I hope it's something fun and entertaining. That's all I can say on that.
Yeah.
Okay. We then have some matches. We have 4 matches booked for this card so far. I'm sure there will be a couple more, but
Mhm,
4 so far.
mhm,
We have Orange Cassidy taking on
mhm.
Jeff Jarrett for the AEW now named International Championship.
Yeah. This is not gonna be number 3. Like I'm not even I didn't even like talk about him and just give me a number. So give me number 3 because like there's no like Jeff Jarrett after last week when Cassidy fought Lethal to amazing match. You can have Jarrett? Like, listen, Jeff Jarrett, great shape. Kudos to what he's still doing in the ring. But this is like saying, oh my God, Orange Cassidy's going to fight Jeff Jarrett at Forbidden Door. It's like, what? Is it the pre-show he's going to fight him at, right? So it's one of those things that are like, okay, I guess we're continuing the storyline now. We all know Jeff Jarrett's not gonna win, hopefully. But yeah, there's only so much Orange Cassidy can do, right? And
Right.
if those clowns come out, I don't man, this match is gonna go lower for me, right? So I'm gonna
Right.
say 3
Unless
for
those
now.
clowns are accompanied by Fukugen death. But in all seriousness, yeah, this to me, okay, you remember that match at the
Mhm,
beginning of Wrestle Kingdom where it
mhm.
had like the old timers against some like really good young guys?
Yeah,
Yeah. Remember that match?
yeah,
Yeah. Remember what we
yeah,
thought of that match?
yeah. It wasn't that great. We're like, okay, good for you guys,
Yeah,
and that was
exactly.
it. We're like
That
next.
that's kind of how I feel like this match is going to be. Hey, good for you, Jeff Jarrett. Way to wrestle.
Yeah, yeah,
Yep. I'm sure he's in great shape. I'm sure
he
the match
is.
may be better than I think, but I never liked Jeff Jarrett when he was young.
Same,
So I don't know why I'm gonna like him now, right? I mean,
same.
at least Sting had his moments and stuff. So I was kind of like, okay,
True.
Sting, I can go with Sting. Jeff Jarrett, you are not Sting.
No.
You're
And Sting
Jeff
does crazy
Jarrett.
because Sting wants to kill himself apparently. So I mean, like
Yeah.
he
And
does
and I
crazy
mean,
stuff.
and Sting was a great wrestler back in the
Yes.
day. So,
Yes.
Jeff Jarrett, I've never really liked his stuff. So I just kind of don't care. It's going to be a lot of shenanigans and BS and other crap, and I don't care.
Same.
Number 3 match could be the number 4.
Yeah.
And I'll
That's what exactly
explain
what I was
that in
saying.
a moment. But
Yeah.
anyway, so next up we have Jade Cargill's Canadian Open Challenge for the TBS Championship. Her opponent has not yet been announced.
So this was my number 4, right?
Of course,
Because it's
it's
Jade
not going to be
Cargill,
the elite match.
right? Number 4, the elite. No. Yeah, I just don't see this match going well in any way. Right, you're right. It's going to be another squash match, and I just not into it until Jade
Who's the
Cargill
opponent?
squashing. Remember we talked about this. Remember you predicted the bunny was probably going to be the opponent.
There's been some news since.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Can I hear the news first?
There is a prominent free agent in the female wrestling market right now named Taya Valkyrie, who you may have heard of.
John Morrison's girl. Yeah.
Yes. Canadian.
Mm-hmm. I didn't know she's Canadian, actually. Okay.
Yeah. And if she's signed, she's a pretty good wrestler. I haven't seen much of her stuff, but by all accounts, she's quite good. She was the Impact champion recently. She has left Impact. It would be a hell of a match for her to walk in and beat Jade Cargill.
So that's interesting. It's an interesting concept, right? Because one, I think that'd be good because Taya Valkyrie is not like, she's not weak. She's like a strong girl, right? So that would be believable. You're not making Jade look weak. But I kind of feel Tony would still think that's making Jade look weak. And I think regardless, and I would hate to see Valkyrie come in and lose her first match. Like,
but that's what I mean. Like, what a debut.
Yeah.
She'd be over in 2 seconds.
But that's actually a very interesting. I didn't even think about that. You know what? Okay. I'm on board for that. If she shows up, then this match might be actually better than we're thinking.
That's what I mean. That's where it could slide into the number 3 slot.
Yeah. And if she wins, that's definitely taking at least number 3, right?
Well, I think if she loses, it's still going to slide to number 4 for me, because then it's just another Jade Cargill beats up random person number 78 match to me.
No. Meaning that if Valkyrie wins, I said then it would easily slide into number 3. But
yeah,
you're right.
Easily.
If she loses, it makes no sense.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Well, that's what I mean, right? And if it's the bunny getting squashed, then number 4.
Yeah. So okay. It's still sliding in my number 4 because I don't know who's coming out, but it could change.
I have also slotted it at 4 with the potential to be 3. Yes.
Okay.
But the number 1 and 2, I think, are going to be obvious for us tonight. We have Hangman Page and the Dark Order, Evil Uno, and the returning for one night, perhaps only, Stu Grayson, taking on the Blackpool Combat Club, Jon Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli, and Wheeler Yuta.
This is going to be a good match. This is going to be a very good match. This is going to be the 1B to the 1A. Like all these guys. Like I interested in watching the Blackpool Combat Club just go down that heel thing, right? So, and Hangman's back. Again, remember I said last week, Hangman coming out in all black was very interesting. Like, he didn't come out in his colorful clothing. Something maybe to watch. It might be nothing. But I'm just happy to see Evil Uno and Stu back together. Like watching them as a tag team. They need to be a tag team. Though I love Uno with the Dark Order, like with Silver and Reynolds. But
there's room for one more.
There is room for one more. And I hope maybe tonight they're like, Tony Khan comes out and says, we've signed Stu Grayson, and I'm like, you know what? Welcome back, Stu. Welcome back.
Oh, hell yes. The Super Smash Brothers are back together.
This is gonna be fantastic. This match can be fantastic. 1B.
Oh yeah, I mean, this could be a match of a night on any other night, right? That's it's we're so spoiled watching AEW. You know that? I mean, even when we have a night where we're calling mediocre, it is still one of the best wrestling shows that you're going to get, like, for the last number of years on television. Right? It's just insane how their worst show can still beat 99% of the stuff we've had on North American television for the past 25 years. Right. So, I mean, when I have to keep reminding myself of that I'm holding everything now to such a high standard, because we get these matches that once upon a time would have been match of the years, bar none. And we get them every week, and we think of them as not the match of the night. You know, it's just, we are in such an amazing period of professional wrestling that we're calling Hangman Page and the Dark Order taking on the Blackpool Combat Club as, well, it'll be a 1B. Right? Like, it's just crazy. But yeah, this match is going to rock. Stu Grayson is just so good in the ring. Evil Uno. So, I mean, look, like you said, all these guys. All these guys. And that's what I mean. If AEW can't get their trademark for Fight Forever done properly, they can just change the name of the game to AEW All These Guys.
All these yeah, no, you're right.
Yep. So that brings us to the match that we both obviously think will be the match of the night, because I can't see how it can't be. House of Black, the champions, defending their AEW World Trios Championship against the Elite and the Jericho Appreciation Society, specifically Chris Jericho, Daniel Garcia, and Sammy Guevara, basically the three best wrestlers in the
Yep.
Jericho Appreciation Society.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know like how this is not going to be the match of the night, right? Like you have what I was going to say, you have 9 guys in this match, and these teams, like I honestly want to see my like the Elites and the Jericho Appreciation Society humiliated by the House of Black, because I think they need that, and if they do it well, it's gonna be so good, right?
Yes. And you know what I really like, the one thing that I'm
Mhm,
waiting to see in this ring tonight,
mhm.
of all the things I'm waiting to see, Kenny Omega, Sammy Guevara.
Oh my goodness. Can we just do it what we did at the pay-per-view, where Kenny jumps in the ring first and then everyone just fights him? Like everyone just takes turn, and then we can be like, "Oh, that's a dream match. That's a dream match. That's a
Yeah,
dream match. That's
exactly.
a
Yeah,
dream
yeah,
match."
precisely. I'm completely fine with that, because they're all dream matches.
Oh,
I mean,
Kenny.
seriously, it's going to be so good. Like
It, yeah.
Nick Jackson and Sammy Guevara,
Oh wow, we haven't seen that. It's true.
I know, like it's Sammy really hasn't been matched up against these guys,
No,
really. I mean, somewhat,
yeah.
but not like directly
Well,
like this.
well, as Kenny said, it's Jericho. You stayed out of our business. We've stayed out of
Mhm.
yours. Now you're sticking your nose where it doesn't belong, right?
Right. And I mean, we didn't even mention Buddy Matthews and Sammy
Oh
Guevara,
my.
or, like,
Or watching what's his name, Brody King, just demolish everyone, like
yes. Oh, yeah.
oof,
The other one I want to see too is Malachi Black and Chris Jericho.
yes, oh yeah, oh
Yeah, I
my
don't think I've
god,
seen those two clash yet either.
no,
So, I mean, there's all these matchups that this is totally fresh on
yeah,
so many
I'm
levels.
looking at these matches, I'm like, when have these guys wrestled?
Exactly.
Right.
I know, it's just crazy. So we've got like
Huh.
9 guys in the ring. Some of them we haven't seen in a ring together, maybe ever, or maybe just for a very long time.
Yeah, yeah,
And this is going to be freaking awesome. I mean, how much better can today get wrestling wise, with the exception of the Will Ospreay injury?
yeah, that one was kind of shocking. Yeah, no, I don't like I don't know how much better it could get.
Hmm.
Besides AEW letting us know that there are fan codes that we can get, so we can start signing up for these things, so we can
Yep.
potentially get tickets. Um, I don't know. Like, you know what could make it maybe better? Maybe surprises. Who knows what's
Hmm.
gonna happen today, right? Like, I don't
Right.
know what's gonna happen in Winnipeg today. But yeah, like we laugh at Tony Khan for all his gigantic and his huge major announcements. And this one kind of just like went not under the radar, but it just released. And you're like, what?
Mm.
When was this? Like, and it's not like the dirt sheets knew about it. Like they were all shocked. Everyone was like, holy crap, this is what Tony Khan just announced, right? So um yeah, I don't know. Like I'm excited. I'm still speechless. I'm still caught up in the in the
Yeah,
Forbidden Door.
I know, right?
That I'm stuck in the Forbidden Door. I don't know what to say. I don't know. And hey, you know what? In 2 weeks, well, week and a bit, we may be very angry coming back on the show again,
We could be
right?
very angry. Yes,
But
like the show on the 27th.
yeah,
We could be two angry guys.
we could be very angry, and we can no, I mean, we're nothing's going to stop us from watching Forbidden Door, but we could be either watching it in person or watching it from home, right? So,
Yes.
there are two options that could happen. We're just hoping for the first one.
Yes, precisely. Exactly. But on that note, do you want to go watch some wrestling?
Ooh, I'm hyped. Let's
I
do it.
know. Let's do it. We will be back. But as always, it will seem like we've never been gone. And that was Dynamite. And like we said earlier, came to us from Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada, from the Canada Life Center. We have Taz, Tony, and Excalibur on commentary, and we start right off with AEW World Champion MJF's Rebar Mitzvah celebration. He comes out, he insults Bret Hart, he goes to the Sean well. His religion is the best. He's having the Rebar Mitzvah because he tapped out Bryan Danielson to become the best wrestler in the world, to retain the best title in professional wrestling, and now he's Iron Man. So it's time to celebrate. But his celebration is his interruption. His celebration is interrupted by Jungle Boy Jack Perry. Jack Perry comes to the ring. He gets a mic. He's about to speak, and Sammy Guevara's music hits. Sammy comes to the ring, gets a mic. He's about to speak, and Darby Allin's music hits. Can we just take a moment to appreciate the talent in this ring right now? Yeah. So MJF is pissed. They're ruining his Rebar Mitzvah. He asks what they want, and in stereo, they go, "We want a title match." So Jungle Boy says, "Listen, we wrestled at Double or Nothing in 2020. Pandemic pay-per-view. There were no fans. You cheated and you won.
Yep.
And after that, we went in different directions. You got handed opportunities, and I wrestled on Dark. You've never been on Dark. We all have. You've never been on Elevation. You haven't even been on Rampage. You just get to walk around here and do whatever the hell you want. It's crazy. There's an entire locker room full of men and women who bust their asses, who maybe get 60 seconds a week on this show. But we have to sit back there and watch you come out here and take 20 minutes to do the same old hokey bullshit you've been doing for the last 4 years." And MJF says, "Well, the company revolves around me. I'm actually a star, unlike all of you." Sammy cuts him off and goes, "Shut the hell up before I turn the Rebar Mitzvah into a recircumcision." Loved that line. "You talk too much. You've done it your whole life. You talked your way into AEW, lied, cheated, kissed ass. I had to grind 10 plus years in the independents to get here. I had to work at Whataburger. I had to work at Subway, any odd job. You name it, I did it. And then when I finally got here, I was told I was only supposed to be the inner circle's job guy, but I overcame every obstacle and I became champion 3 times over. You see, Max, I'm not like you. I never had the machine pushing me. I never needed it. I had myself get me here and I'll get me there." He points to the title. "So whether you like it or not, Sammy Guevara is going to be the world champ because I'm the best ever, and you know it." MJF says, "Look, we all appreciate you take time out of your schedule to do locker room brawls in the back." Darby cuts him off and goes, "Enough, my turn. In 2013, I was going to film school and I turned in a movie. Story time with Darby Allin. My teacher told me to change it. He dropped out, and then Darby drops out instead of changing the movie. It was a blessing in disguise because I became a pro wrestler. I told myself I would make it as Darby Allin or break as Darby Allin, but I ain't going to change a thing. So fast forward to AEW, I may be the worst businessman in the world, but there will never be a bidding war for Darby Allin because AEW gives me an opportunity I can't get anywhere else. They just let me be me. The biggest problem I have with this whole company, you have grown-ass wrestlers in the back going, I'm not happy. I'm upset. I want out of my contract if I don't get what I want. And that includes you with this bidding war of 2024 crap. AEW means a whole lot more to me than it ever did to you, and it is exactly why I should be world champion. And you know what I'm going to do if you don't give me a championship match, right? I'm going to go on Twitter and whine. And he goes, no, just kidding. I'm going to go and beat you with my skateboard. MJF then, of course, insults all 3 of them. And then Sammy reminds MJF his fiance left him. MJF says, I have nobody. I never needed to be enrolled in AEW Daddy Daycare. I've been ready since day one. We're the pillar, but I'm the only pillar that can keep this place up. I've beaten every single one of you in singles competition. None of you deserve a shot. So you 3 are going to leave, and I'm going to eat my cake because I deserve it. They brawl. MJF gets thrown into his cake, of course, and the fans chant, you deserve it. What'd you think?
You know, this I really didn't know where this was going. I mean, we did say, well, we can say we both were right in who was going to come out.
Oh, these guys.
But I never thought Sammy was going to come out. Right? When I heard Sammy Guevara, I was like, what the heck? And then watching the 4 pillars minus Britt, like the 4 male pillars, I should say, come out. And just I turned and I was like, you know, this is the future of AEW. If anything happens, these 4 guys here. I like, oh, MGF not so much, but I can care less. But like these other 3 guys, like you see the talent that AEW has, and I was glad that they brought all 3 of them out. I enjoyed the realism here. My
Mm-hmm.
goodness, did they not pull their punches? Holy crap. Like from the fact that they're calling out MJF for just literally not even being on dark, not even
Mm-hmm.
having a rampage match, not even having like an elevation match. The three of them did. MGF firing back with calling Sammy like the person who starts fights in the back room. I was like, oh my goodness. Asking about switching up his fiancés and stuff like that, and then
Mm-hmm.
obviously Sammy
Yep.
going back with the fiance. I obviously Darby Allin has come so far from where he was. Like he literally nailed it on the head, right? Like we have wrestlers in the back room complain. He's like he's never thought about leaving AEW because this is
Mm-hmm.
his home, right? Which was true, right?
Yep.
He has no reason to leave. All the other wrestlers who are complaining in the back room, whining about not being on TV, not having a shot, and the bid when he called out the bidding war of 2024, I laughed so much. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
it's so true. It is so true. And then he's like, and if I don't get a shot, I'll just go on Twitter and complain. He's
Yeah.
just kidding.
Like just
Like
kidding. Yeah.
Darby Allin for me, he really won this verbal feud, I should say, just because he laid out almost the weird part is you could tell he wanted to say this stuff, but backhandedly Tony Khan kind of calling out all this BS as well, right? People going on
Mm-hmm.
Twitter and complaining about not getting all this time, but they're not really willing to work for it. I enjoyed it. I really, really enjoyed this. And I'm like, yeah, I want to see these guys go for the belt. I can see them all go together, like in a four-way. I can see them go one by one. I don't care. I want to, and you know what? I would rather any of those other three guys carrying the belt as
Oh
well.
yeah, 100%. Yeah, this was great.
Yeah.
Because I mean, let's just take a moment and acknowledge how far Jungle Boy has come on the mic. Because holy
Mm-hmm.
crap, was that a good promo? I mean, I agree with
Mm-hmm.
you about everything you said about Darby, right? But Jungle Boy's promo was also really, really good. I like the way that he called out the whole like, you've never had to do a damn thing while the rest of us have been grinding our
Yeah.
ass off. Like the
Yeah.
three of them, minus Sammy's insult, he tossed to the Canadian fans just to make sure everyone was reminded he was a heel.
He's
Because
bad
man,
guy.
did he cut a
Exactly.
baby face promo. So he just kind of had to throw the little dig in at the
Yeah.
you Canadian fans, blah blah
Yeah.
blah. So he had to do that to try to maintain his heel image. But
when he said that, I was like, "We're not worthy. We're
I know, right?
stupid, Sammy."
I know, right? But I mean, all three of them cut like just amazing
Agreed.
babyface promos on
Agreed.
MJF, right? I mean,
Yeah.
how can anyone, after hearing these three guys and their stories, want to cheer for MJF against any of them? He seems like the guy who just kind of bought his way in, thinks he's amazing, doesn't really earn shit. He really doesn't.
Mm.
I mean,
No.
I still don't understand how that
But why?
Iron Man match
What?
was
Yeah.
so highly rated. But
But
anyway,
yeah.
we
Yeah.
went into that extensively on Monday.
Yeah.
So
We did.
but yeah, I don't get it. And these three guys, any one of them, I'd rather see with the title. But I think that's the point. They have
Mm-hmm.
successfully done it. They have
Mm-hmm.
shown us three guys that we all want to cheer for and beat MJF because we hate MJF. So
And
congratulations, AEW.
yeah,
Mission
good
accomplished.
job. And I'm gonna throw some spoilers out here, guys, but that they're all gonna lose. And think about how much time, Bill, that gives a returning Brian Danielson. You have three potential big matches for MGF, who really only wrestles at pay-per-views, big events. Daniel Bryan Danielson, um, he could be off for a while, and that's okay
Mm-hmm.
because the build-up coming back is going to be that epic. And yeah, I'm thinking the belt's going to Danielson when he comes back. I don't see how else this is playing out, right? So
Possibly.
bravo
Yeah.
AEW for this, like bravo. But then again, I could see the belt on any one of these guys, and I will be
Yeah, because I
happy.
mean, if you're gonna take the time now to build these three guys into look, they laid it out. This was amazing because it's like, guys, this is the next generation. This is the world title picture, and
Agreed.
it's our pillars. It
Yeah.
isn't Kenny Omega. It isn't
Nope.
Chris Jericho. It isn't Brian Danielson. It isn't John Moxley. It's
Mm-hmm.
these four guys. And for me, I was just like, this is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't want those three
Mm-hmm.
guys to. I want one of them
Yeah.
to win.
to win.
Because I think the guy who beats MJF like that, they're catapulted,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's going to be epic if they manage to beat him. So it depends on how AEW wants to build their stars, right? What comes out of this. But we shall see. I mean, you and I both thought a Challenger was going to come out.
Yeah.
He's got
All of them.
3.
All
And
of them.
all 3, you were right. You called it with that. He called out all the pillars. So which pillar is it going to be? Well, apparently all these guys.
All of them.
Yes,
All of them.
exactly.
Good.
The new video
Smart
game,
move.
AEW, all these guys. Well, that takes us then to a quick video about Chris Jericho, who was honored by the Premier of Manitoba, Heather Stephenson. For those of you who are not Canadian, a premier is kind of like an American state governor. So he was basically honored by Manitoba's governor, but we call them premiers up here in Canada. And he had a street named after him, apparently his home street, Chris Jericho Way. I now want to move to Winnipeg so I can live on Chris Jericho Way, because I would love to write that in my address continuously.
Yeah, this is cool. I mean, as much as I love this, I kind of thought, hey, premier, do you not know who Kenny Omega is? Should there be like a Kenny Omega city? Is that what you're trying to tell us? You're gonna have you're gonna change the name to of one of the burbs maybe to like the Omega burb or whatever. I would go live there, because yeah, there, like, Chris Jericho is the man. Like hey, he's probably done more for pro wrestling than most people have, right? Let's not get things twisted here, right? He's worked in almost every company there is.
Yes.
If not worked for every company there is, a major company, I should say, not like the smaller ones. But like that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. Like, it's funny, like I just typed in AEW today, and Kenny Omega articles came up.
Mhm.
And the one of the articles was how Kenny Omega came the best Canadian wrestler that nobody heard about, like no one from Canada heard about, right? Because
Yep.
that's just the way it was, right? So
Mhm.
yeah, no, this was great. We'll get to Omega eventually, but this was cool. This was
Yeah,
a really nice
it was
bit.
very cool and well deserved. I just hope that now Mississauga
Did,
takes a page out of the book and names my street Christian Cage Way or something like that, because that would be pretty
did you
cool.
catch a glimpse of Anna Jay? She was with them at the ceremony. So I'm like, oh, at least she's feeling better. I'm like, hey, there's Anna.
Yay.
she's there.
He brings the Jericho Appreciation Society with him. That's so funny. Anyway, then we move on to Hangman Adam Page and the Dark Order, Evil Uno and Stu Grayson taking on the Blackpool Combat Club, John Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli, and Wheeler Yuta. And Evil Uno goes right after Yuta with a high boot, but Yuta gets Uno into the Blackpool Combat Club corner and tags Mox. They start to work Uno over. Mox ties his leg in the rope, kicks it, but when Yuta is back in the ring, Uno back body drops him and tags Grayson in. And now I began to go, God, I hope they sign this man back, because he does a springboard DDT to Yuta and then a top rope Meteora to Castagnoli before dropping Mox. He then DDTs Claudio and does a springboard rotating senton. Claudio turns it around with an eye rake, tosses him outside, then throws him back and forth between the rail and the apron before the Blackpool Combat Club did a spiked pile driver to him on the floor with the ref distracted. They worked Grayson over, including Mox putting a cloverleaf on him that he then transitioned into a rear naked choke during the break. And remember I've told you the announcers like to talk during the break. So I know this is during the commercial break. So this is what happened. Claudio hits him with a European uppercut. And Excalibur says, Claudio is very dangerous with those European uppercuts. Taz, but he's from Switzerland. Tony, that's in Europe. And Taz goes, oh, and he says hi to their fans around the world and promises that he does, in fact, know where they live.
I loved, as a wrestler, I wasn't a big Taz fan.
Yep.
As a commentator, I absolutely adore this guy. He's so good, and his back and forth with Excalibur and Tony Schiavone, it's perfect. Like,
yeah,
I'm gonna say this. Like, if I don't have to hear Jim Ross ever again, not a loss to me,
Yeah, no, these three guys are great.
They're so good. Yeah. So yeah, Kudos, Taz. Kudos.
Exactly. So, as this is going on, they keep working Stu over. Mox nailing a pile driver for a near fall. Grayson finally comes back with a huge running knee and makes the hot tag to Hangman, who goes nuts. Follow away slam to Yuta, then a plancha to Claudio on the outside, coming back in with a lariat to Yuta. I mean, he's moving at 100 miles an hour. Yuta escapes from a power bomb, though, and Uno makes a blind tag. Hangman nails the power bomb. Uno hits a diving senton, but Claudio interferes. Yuta then tags out to Mox, and Hangman and Mox go at it. Hangman sets up for the buckshot, but Mox distracts the ref. Yuta nails Hangman with the ring bell now at this point. So Uno and Grayson charge the ring and attack Claudio and Mox, but Yuta chop blocks Uno. Grayson then takes out Claudio and Yuta, including a massive tope con hilo, clearing the turnbuckle to hit Claudio on the floor before Uno and Grayson hit the wombo combo on Mox for a near fall. They then hit the fatality, but Yuta breaks up the pin. Grayson hits a Pele kick on Mox, a Hurricane Run on Claudio, goes for the tag, but Yuta has pulled Uno off the apron. Mox gets the bulldog choke on Grayson, and that's the end of the match. And they continue the assault after the match until Reynolds and Silver come out for the save. What'd you think?
You know, I said this is my 1B earlier today, like my obviously number 2 1B. This match I loved it. I thought this match was absolutely fantastic. Like Stu Grayson, man, he's so good. Like the minute he jumped in, and I get it, like he's obviously getting like a push here because he hasn't been on TV such a long time, but he's so good. And him and Uno like together, I miss their combinations. Oh my god, I miss their combinations. That flip they did over the post, I didn't see that coming. I'm like, where's he going?
Yeah, same.
Then he jumps. I was like, holy shit. This match was fantastic, and the Blackpool Combat Club totally playing up the heels. Like they've gone down that road.
Oh yeah, they're full on heels. If we haven't figured that out by now, then we're not watching.
Yeah, it works. It still works. Like, I mean, so as they entered, they cut the commercial break.
Yes.
So I'm like, are they really gonna have Mox walk into the entire commercial break? Instead, Mox actually gets to the ring pretty quickly.
Yes.
And then they stand there and do stretches and
yes,
warm up.
They literally were just
on?
wandering around the outside of the ring, doing stretches,
like,
blah, blah, and their music's playing the whole time.
Yeah, I figured that much.
I just took it as an opportunity to chill out for a bit.
Yeah, but no, I thoroughly enjoy this match. I love where this is going. We'll talk about that later. But
yes,
this is
surprisingly
awesome.
Too. We'll get to that later. But yes, I loved this match. Absolutely loved this match. It was so good, and one of the main reasons, again, like you called it, Stu Grayson. Holy crap, this guy's good. You forget how good he is till you see him back. And it's just like, oh my God, this guy can move. He can fly. He hits hard. He's so athletic. His tag team moves with Uno are spot on. It's like, for the love of God, Tony, give the man what he wants and get him back in AEW. Holy hell, he needs to be in the Dark Order yesterday. But yeah, the Blackpool Combat Club are amazing. I like them as heels. They make a really good heel trio. Uno's great. Hangman, I mean, my God, that guy's good. So yeah, it was great. Loved it. It is my second favorite match on the show, though, and this could be match of the night on many Dynamites.
Yeah, agreed.
So yes, we get a Juice Robinson video now. He recaps his attack on Starks, and Juice says, "It's not why, Juice, why. The real question is, what are you gonna do about Juice coming down to the ring and taking you out by your surgically repaired neck?" That was it.
Yeah. I guess they're trying to give context to it, but here's the thing again. It's Juice says like, yeah, people. I came out because an opportunity, and Ricky Starks calling, whatever.
Yeah.
It still doesn't make any sense though. Like okay, sure. If we're gonna flip it like, hey, there was an opportunity, like Peter Avalon took, right? Maybe sure, but I thoroughly enjoyed Peter Avalon's one. Yeah. See, my problem with Juice Robinson, I like him a lot. My problem is that every time I see Juice Robinson's face, he looks like a little kid who is for Halloween trying to go as an adult, and he's put like a fake beard and stuff like on him, because I can't. His facial features are so like he's so young looking. Like he's a young guy, but he's so young. He looks like a little teenage kid who's put on this makeup, and I can't stop laughing every time I see his face. But I love the guy. I totally adore the guy. I just don't understand this feud though. And you'll get Ricky Starks' rebuttal afterwards, but it's like, okay, sure,
Yeah,
maybe we need to see it. Maybe
I
we
don't
need to
get
see
it
it,
either.
right? I
It's
don't
like
know.
giving Ricky Starks something to do,
To
and
do.
at least Juice is getting a little bit more
Yeah,
spotlight. So
TV time.
that's at least something. He's getting his 60 seconds on Dynamite. One of the
Yeah.
hardworking guys in the back who gets 60 seconds on Dynamite. Well, then we have Jade Cargill's Canadian Open Challenge for the TBS Championship. Jade Cargill comes down. Her opponent is already in the ring. It is not the Bunny. It is not Taya Valkyrie. It is
Yep.
Nicole Matthews, who is from Vancouver. She wrestles in Shimmer. She's a 17-year-old vet. A 17-year-old. She's a 17-year vet. She's older than 17. Okay, people, this isn't Japan.
Well, Bill, we don't know that. She could be 17. Let's not make
She could be.
assumptions
She may
here.
have started wrestling like, Soraya likes to say she's been wrestling before she was born. She was in her
Yeah,
mother's
there you
womb
go.
when her mom
There
was
you go.
wrestling. So yeah. All I wrote down was WTF because I'm like, okay, this wasn't what I was expecting, but okay, whatever.
This was the normal major Tony Khan announcement. When I saw her, I was like, oh.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. I was like, yeah, okay. Like all the wind out of my sails. Cargill hits Jaded in about a minute, and I want to
Yeah.
puke because I'm so freaking sick and tired of the Jade Cargill championship run. I am tired of it. Tired. Every time she's on my screen, I'm bored out of my skull. Can someone else have that belt now, please? I labeled this as the 7th best match on the show. The brawl in the bar mitzvah was a better match. The recap of the attack on Ricky Starks was a better match. Do I need to go on?
Yeah, no. This was by far the worst match on the night. Nothing. So we thought an actual challenger was going to be there. And no offense to the Canadian wrestler who was jobbed here.
I'm sure she's great.
Yeah, I'm sure she's great. But it's like, sure, okay, whatever, right? You're like, at this point, Tony Khan, you're wasting my time.
Oh God, yes.
Right? That's what you're doing. You're wasting my time. You're wasting everyone else's time. It could be 100-0. I don't care.
No, because
right?
it's a bullshit streak anyway.
Yeah,
It's complete bullshit. She's beating people like
yeah.
this, and it's part of
Tell
her.
me, yeah, exactly. Tell me when these matches are scheduled, and I can skip it. Simple as that, right? Just let me know, and I'll just skip it from now. If you don't care about this belt or this division or whatever, then I don't have to care about it either, right?
No, exactly.
So,
yeah, exactly. It was just complete bullshit.
Yeah.
And after the match, though, Renee comes out to the ring. Jade takes the mic away from her, noting Renee is Canadian. Maybe she needs to be beaten up too. She then gets the mic and says, "Is that all Canada has to offer?" I'm like, okay, yeah, now we're
now, yeah,
right in the most super predictable entrance ever.
Mm-hmm.
And her screentron comes up long before, maybe even before her music or she comes out, because you get this cheer and it's really quiet. I don't know if it's just that her music starts really, really quiet or if they blew it there, but her jumbotron came up first.
The music was kind of weird. Yeah, I agree,
it was weird. I don't know if that was like, we'll have to see when she does her entrance later. But anyway, Taya Valkyrie comes out. She's big. She's as tall as Jade. They actually have a stare down in the ring. Jade leaves. Layla Gray attacks Taya, but Valkyrie hits Jaded on Layla Gray, and that's the end of your segment.
Yeah, it was really weird because you see the fans stand up and they look, and then you hear, "Oh my God, who is that?" So then I thought, is she already out? Did she come out already? But then they zoom in and you're like, oh, you see Taya Valkyrie, like her logo, and you're like, okay. But is the music playing? And then it's like it slowly was coming, like getting turned up, and I'm like, okay, so did they just blow it? Did the graphics team just blow everything? Like, it was like the Christian Cage reveal, right? When they kind of like they messed up the music in the countdown.
Yes.
And you're like, oh yeah, it's Christian. But yeah, it's just again, I guess this okay. I'm gonna judge it based on the fan reaction. Now, the fan reaction that I heard, and you could have heard something different as well, wasn't as big as I thought it was going to be. Because for me, I always assume AEW smarter fans and they know a lot more wrestlers But I'm not saying this because they know a lot of wrestlers. Doesn't mean they have to like every wrestler they know, right? So when she showed up, the pop was good, but not
Mhm.
like let's be real, not like when Kenny Omega came out tonight. Okay, so
Right.
I think again Tony Khan maybe thought this was a bigger deal than it was. Um where it goes from here, I don't know.
It's
I personally was kind of like, okay,
yeah.
all right.
Well, it's because of the way it was handled.
Yeah,
Right? I mean,
maybe.
she comes
Yeah,
out after and just stares her down in the ring like, who gives a flying
who
rat's
cares?
ass? That
Yeah,
does
who cares?
nothing. Nothing.
Yeah,
Like, we don't know. If you don't know who she is, it's not a big deal.
yeah.
If you do know who she is, it's a little bit bigger deal.
Mhm.
But again, she just stares down Jade Cargill, which means you're getting a match someday. Big deal. Right? Again, the only way to have made her into an instant star would have to have been have her be the actual opponent for
Yeah,
Cargill and have her win
and beat her, and beat
and
her.
beat
Yeah,
her. And then that's it. That's your shock of the night. Ooh, she's got the TBA. But apparently, Tony thinks this streak is some massive thing that can't just be beaten in a ring on a Dynamite. I got news
you
for you.
know,
It could be beaten in the ring on Rampage, people,
yeah.
or Elevation for all I care. Like, just get the belt off this woman.
And that's it, right? It's like the Goldberg streak, and I think Tony, again, being a fan of WCW, forgets that the Goldberg streak became very boring after a while, and that's exactly what's happened here. This is not the Undertaker streak we're talking about. That the Undertaker wrestled once, WrestleMania, he earned that, right? When he lost, everyone was shocked because everyone
Yeah.
thought, this guy's gonna retire with a streak. Like, who cares, right?
Yep.
He's earned it, and then he lost, and then but again, he earned it.
Mhm.
This is not an MGF female version here, right? Everything's just
Right.
given to them, right? Like this is I don't understand the love obsession here. Um, I'm not in any way putting down Jade in any way. I'm just saying, what has she earned? What has she earned? I don't get it. I don't
Yeah.
understand.
Oh yeah. Don't,
Um,
don't get me wrong. I'm not putting her down as a person or as a human
yeah,
being. I don't think she's the greatest wrestler. I
no.
see much better women and men than her day in, day out in AEW, in New Japan, in
Mhm.
in Stardom. I mean,
Stardom?
don't even make me start on the women in Stardom. She couldn't hold a candle to like any of them. But and look, Fukugen Death would take her down. Okay. Um, Actually, that woman can wrestle. Anyway, the
All
to
right, sorry.
return before I go way off on a tangent. Yeah, Jade Cargill, please give up the belt. Thank you. Come again.
Yeah. Yeah. Agreed. Agreed. And you know what? I wouldn't like if Jade was to give up the belt, like say she loses, make her like humanize her a bit, do something with her character. And then if she wins something else, great. That's great. But this championship is doing nothing for her. Yeah,
Do
I'm
do the
beating all
Kenny
the
Omega thing.
nobodies.
Yeah, like
Start
send
from
her
the
back
bottom,
to the
yeah.
start. Yeah, start from the bottom, but have her lose a few matches after she loses.
Yeah.
They figured
Yeah.
her out. Her shtick doesn't work anymore.
No, it doesn't.
You know.
It sucks.
Anyway, yeah. So Ricky Starks is in the back with Tony Schiavone.
We hinted at this already, yes.
Yes, and Tony says, "You heard Juice," and Ricky says, "It's easy to attack a guy from behind. You're jealous. You haven't done anything. Bullet Club was relevant in 2015. Maybe you should do something for yourself. You think I'd learn tangling with these groups, but if it's an issue with me, bring it. If you want to bring the Bullet Club, bring it."
Yeah. I kind of laugh at that Bullet Club reference, by the way. I was like, it's funny because it's
Because it's
true.
true.
um yeah, it's one of those things like, yeah, they have a few good lines here or there, but again, I just don't care for it. I don't know where it's
Mm-hmm.
going. So
Yeah.
you know what, maybe it needs some more build, maybe they need to have a match, and maybe the match is gonna be fantastic and we're gonna want more, but until then I'm like, all right, cool.
Yep.
Next.
Right. But then we get the debut of QTV. So QT Marshall points out that on this show, they only give the pure facts. So they start their lead story, which is Wardlow's car was broken into, and they have footage. They actually have footage of the person breaking into the car, and you hear them laughing, and there's a break in, and it's Aaron Solo, and he has stolen the belt and everything else out of Wardlow's car. And then they make fun of Wardlow for a while, and like they're all in like this studio kind of thing. QT then says, so what's next for Wardlow? And Aaron says, whatever is next for Batista, but not as good. And QT says, but he's not going anywhere. He left his passport in the car. What do you say, Hobbs? Hobbs just picks up the title, stares into the camera, and goes, welcome to Will's world, bitch.
I prefer that better than Wardlow's world. Yeah. So what QTV is basically a parody on TMZ. Just the way that he situated everything with him holding the water bottle and everything. I was like, okay, I see what they're going. I have no clue who that woman was.
I've never watched TMZ. I'd never seen this before.
I don't know who that woman was. That random girl. That's it. I was like, have we seen her? Is she part of QT Marshall's team or something like that? I'm like, okay, but I do appreciate the comedy they're trying to bring in. I'm glad it's not a talking in ring segment. I'm happy that it's not that. I'm glad it's a clip of something. That's more fresh. I love the fact that it's like we knew exactly what was happening. Like, yeah, great. I guess, one thing, I'm glad to see Aaron Solo. I was kind of afraid
100%.
where he was, right? After they disbanded the factory. But yeah, I I'm gonna say I didn't hate this spot. I left my hate for the Jade Cargill match. This one, I was like, okay, this is more refreshing than that match. So I was like, I was okay with this first little segment that he did. Right? I'm just, maybe I'm just happy to see QT Marshall and Aaron Solo back on TV. So I was like, yeah, I'm good with this. So yeah, I was okay with it.
The female is named Harley Cameron.
Harley Cameron. Okay.
Yes, she was apparently on Total Divas at one point.
Oh, okay.
Yep. But yes, she has been wrestling since. So there you go. I don't know much about her whatsoever, but apparently she is a wrestler. And yes, the I did not catch on to the TMZ reference because I have never watched a single minute of TMZ.
The only reason I caught on to it because I've seen like videos and mockeries of it before, and there was one with like Will Arnett where he was acting as a QT guy, and it was just because it's so over the top. They make fun of it so much that I was like, yeah, I see exactly what he's going for here. So
gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, so QTV is like an AEW TMZ. Okay.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
That's not a terrible thing because I had a lot of fun with this segment. I thought it was funny. The comments they made were, I mean, it was all just, this is sports entertainment done well.
Yes, agreed.
Yeah, I enjoyed this. It made me laugh.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And if it makes me laugh, then it's good sports entertainment.
Yeah.
So good job, QT Marshall. Good job. And Hobbs was funny too, just being Hobbs.
Just being himself.
And ending it with such a stereotypical bitch. Oh, Hobbs. Well, then we get the Orange Cassidy taking on Jeff Jarrett for the newly minted AEW International Championship. As they point out, the title has leveled up because Shazam's debuting, blah, 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 blah. And they get so many gratuitous shots of the various Shazam billboards and stuff around the ring.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, Jarrett decides an arm drag is worth a strut to start the match off. Someone actually has a Jarrett sign in the audience. Why? I guess everyone has to have their fans, right? Cassidy misses the orange. Maybe it was what's his name? Tennis racket boy. The one who hates the elite. Why am I forgetting his name?
Tennis racket.
Yeah, the manager with the tennis racket. Jim Cornette.
Oh, Cornette.
Yeah, Jim Cornette. Maybe it was Jim Cornette. He had a Jeff Jarrett sign. Anyway, Cassidy misses the orange punch, but on a flip, his knee buckle still hurt from last week. So Jarrett does the soft kicks to Cassidy, but Cassidy comes back with hard chops and beats Jarrett's head off the turnbuckle repeatedly. That distracts Cassidy, though, and Jarrett elbows him off the apron. Jarrett throws him over the timekeeper table. His knee gets caught in a chair. They brawl into the stands, and Tony notes that the ref is allowing them a lot of latitude because this is a title match. Cassidy tried to clear the barricade as they come back in, but his knee hits it. Jarrett takes the mic to Cassidy's knee behind the ref's back. Back in the ring at last. Jarrett, I mean, this could have been a 4,000 count, like the time they were out of the ring. Back in the ring at last, Jarrett works over Cassidy's knee. He locks on the sharpshooter to boos from the Canadian crowd. Cassidy forces his way out, puts his own sharpshooter on, though, but Jarrett reaches the ropes thanks to Dutt. Jarrett puts on a sleeper hold. Ironic. Cassidy puts his hands in his pockets and hits a jawbreaker. He locks on a cobra clutch, but Satnam Singh hits him with the ref. It's the way I did my notes. I hits him with a distracted ref. Satnam Singh did not pick up a ref and
he did
Cassidy.
He
amazing. Hit him while the ref was distracted.
He threw the ref at him.
Hits him with the distracted ref. I would have found that way more entertaining. Oh, Jarrett locks on the figure four. Cassidy beats his way out of the hole. They go back and forth until Jarrett shoves Cassidy into the ref. Dutt tosses a guitar in the ring. Aubrey Edwards shows up, though, at this point. Cassidy goes for a roll-up for two. She, of course, stops the guitar shot. Then gets Dutt and Singh tossed using an Eddie Guerrero-like move by, tapping on Aubrey Edwards' shoulder and then falling on the mat, holding his knee while Buddy's back there holding a not broken guitar. But anyway, Cassidy hits the float over DDT, then sets up for the orange punch, but Jarrett distracts the ref. Lethal hits Cassidy with the golden globe. I bid on this as the finish. Cassidy kicked out, though, thank God. Trent Beretta showed up, drops Lethal. Cassidy goes for the orange punch, but the knee gives out. Jarrett goes for the stroke, but Cassidy counters, hits the orange punch for 3.
Lethal versus Beretta, a match I want to see. I want to see a clean match there too. Yeah, this match, you're right. I mean, snooze fest from Jarrett, really. I mean, listen, at his age, better than I expected. Okay. I don't know if that's credit to Cassidy for all the selling he did, like the buckling of that knee and stuff like that. I was like, oh my God, are they gonna make it so that he gets, like, he literally, there's nothing he can do and this is how he loses? I'm like, to Jarrett of all people. So yeah, when Satnam got caught and then Lethal hits him with the Golden Globe. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe, no, don't do this, don't do. And he kicked out. I'm like, all right, great, right? But yeah, I said this was gonna be like on my list, the third of 4. So yeah, and that's where it stayed. Like, not Cassidy's best, but it's not Cassidy. It wasn't him in any way. He did as much as he could, right? We knew this was what the match was gonna be like. This wasn't like Lethal and Cassidy from last week. This is just kind of like a slow, like, this is the type of match Jim Cornette would love. You know what I mean? Like, distractions and just nonsense and slower wrestling, not taking away from the main event. Yeah, that type of match. This is something he would love. So yeah, it is what it is. Like, I mean, I'm gonna not remember this match much because I just don't care about it. But
it did overshadow the Jade Cargill match, though, right?
No.
And that was a title match.
See, Cornette's whole thing is that never overshadow the main event, and this definitely did not.
But I think he'd be very upset with the lack of a proper 20 count, though, and the ref going into such horrible shenanigans. I mean, that whole section, I was just watching it going, are you kidding me right now? Like, they brawled all the way into the stands, up the stairs, and the refs just following them. Guys, you need to get back in the ring. Guys, you need to get back in the ring.
So as much as we make fun of WWE, AEW does this all the time, right? They'll randomly just, the ref is doing this because he knows how important this match is. No, just say it's BS. Like, you don't have a real book. Just throw it out. All right.
Yeah, I mean, look. I'm going to mention Stardom again because it's always relevant. Look, they when they do their tag matches, the ref is distracted like like 85% of the match while people double and triple team. I mean, the refs in Stardom, I mean, I swear to God, they are like, they get distracted more easily than a WWE wrestler with music. Okay. Yeah, I know it's I swear to God, all it takes is one person to call, hey, come here, ref. I need to chat with you for a second, right? And the ref goes over, and then of course their team double teams the person in the ring or whatever. And it's continuous. But that's just the way Stardom is. So if you're gonna do it, just do it. Don't have a match one week where countouts matter, and then have another match the next week where they can brawl all the way to the stands. No one's counting the match.
Yeah.
Oh, the referee discretion's really important in this match. Oh, give me a break. Either have rules or don't have them and be consistent. And I don't care.
Yeah.
You don't want them, that's fine. Be consistent. If you want more than one pinfall breakup in a match, that's fine. Just be consistent. Consistency is all I care about. This to me was ridiculous because I'm like, this was a 400 count. They literally brawled up the stairs in the stands.
Yeah.
I mean, this should have been a double count. If you can double count out Julia and Maya in the co-main event of a pay-per-view, you can count these guys out. Yeah. End of story. Or else don't brawl all the way up the stands. Was it necessary to have the stands brawl?
No.
What did it add to the match? Nothing. Absolutely, utterly nothing. It was a way to waste a commercial break.
Yep.
That's it, which is stupid. So yeah, I did not find this match well booked. I mean, the good part of it was Orange Cassidy and selling his leg. Right. I mean, that was the only good part. Jarrett wrestled mediocrely.
Yeah.
He didn't do much except hit some moves, showboat a hell of a lot, and rely on the guys around him. This was not Sting. Yeah. This was not Jericho. This is Jeff Jarrett. Yeah. So, yeah, I didn't like his wrestling before when he was young. His wrestling now is just getting worse than it was then. Sorry, buddy. The only reason this is my third match of the night is because I kind of have to rank it slightly above the Juice Robinson Ricky Starks recap brawl. Right, because I mean, it does outrank the Jade Cargill match because obviously that's my 7th match of the night. So this one will sit in 3, but I'm putting it in 3 because of Orange Cassidy and exclusively because of Orange Cassidy, because the rest of it and the continuous shenanigans, I'm like, what the? Am I watching WCW 1999 or something?
Yes.
Like, what the hell is this? Anyway, okay, didn't like that match, but hey, if that's my only complaint, because I mean, next up we get a quick promo video for the main event. That was great. Then the Acclaimed has a new music video, as if following up a Jeff Jarrett match couldn't get any better with the Jade Cargill, the Jeff Jarrett, and then an Acclaimed music video. I have no idea. I just ignored the whole thing. If you have any comments on it, let me know.
I didn't even realize they were playing a video until I think I'd taken a bathroom break, and I came back and I'm like, are they them talking or what's happening right now? Then I realized Max Caster was singing. And it's funny because he made some jokes and I'm like, all right, I didn't even like, whatever. It was to me, it was whatever. It didn't leave any impact because I didn't even realize it was a song, and that was it. Like, I have nothing else to say about it.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you a one line in the entire video except for "and everybody loves the Acclaimed." Yeah, okay, whatever. I don't, so it's not everybody. I still count as a person, people.
No, you don't. You don't.
Yes. Well, the Outcasts come out, and I had a thought. Are they seriously going with fluorescent green and black? Like, honestly, this is their colors that they're coming out with, fluorescent green and black. Now, at least their outfits were matching and they had the plaid thing going on. Like, I really dislike their appropriation of my plaid, but they came out, but their whole background logo thing was all fluorescent green and black. People, that's a terrible association. Unless they're doing it on purpose to really make them appear like outcast outsiders by associating their gimmick not only with the NWO, but now with DX. But anyway,
I didn't think about that. Okay.
That's the first thing that hit me when I saw the big flashy fluorescent green and black billboard behind them, or the Jumbotron. I'm like, seriously right now? DX? with fluorescent green spray paint. Okay, whatever. Anyway, they hit unfortunately, their outfits look nothing like the X, and they don't do any mannerisms. So that's good. As long as they keep it to fluorescent green on the sign, fine. Ruby tells a story. She said, once upon a time, AEW had greener grass until a couple of bitches pissed on the grass. And what do we do with bitches who aren't housebroken? Saraya says, we put them down. And you should all be worshiping us. I'm a miracle. Tony says, listen up, fat people. When she tells Tony to take over because she's getting angry. Tony says, listen up, fat people. When I became an interim, and that's right, interim champion, I wore it with a smile, and none of you appreciated me. When your current champ beat me, you loved it. None of you know what you want, so we're here to give you what you need because they're Batman. Change in this division. We're the Outcasts, and we ain't going nowhere. We're having too much fun going after one entitled rookie after the next. Sky Blue. Okay, Sky Blue is pretty much a rookie. Willow Nightingale, not a rookie. Riho, definitely not a rookie. Britt Baker, not a rookie. And your favorite, Jamie Hayter, also not a rookie. I think that Tony needs to look up the word rookie in the dictionary and learn that it doesn't mean almost every single person that she mentioned there. Hayter and Britt then hit the ring because they're angry at her use of the word rookie, but the numbers advantage takes over and they're about to spray paint Hayter and Britt. But then Riho's music hits and she hits the ring with Sky, Willow, and a gigantic pipe.
Yeah.
But then she has a little thing with Britt. Britt just looks at her funny and bails out of the ring.
I mean, okay. This segment was okay. I mean, hey, like after the first segment, which I thought was gonna be absolutely terrible with MJF, and turned out to be what it was. I don't know, like it's just everything else kind of paled in comparison to any type of segment that came after it. So this segment was all right. I mean, I see where they're kind of going. I see they're now forming the lines. Like Riho is now joining, but then if you think about it, now it's only 3 against like 5 people. Right? The numbers have to align somewhere, right? Something is up. The numbers are just not working out because then you're gonna have like, okay, they're the outsiders, the 3 of them. What's happening here, right? So it still has me intrigued a bit, and I'm gonna let it play out. Like I'm gonna give it a chance. Like, hey, I said this earlier today, everything that they're saying when they get a chance to talk, the Outcasts, and they're not insulting the fans, and they're talking about their runs and how they were pushed, they're not saying anything that's a lie.
No,
like,
it's true.
Like they're saying everything, right? She's right. Tony Storm, when she's like, you guys booed me when I was the interim champ. I was never the champ. I was the interim champ. And then when Hayter beat me, you cheered her. Right, she was the bad guy and you cheered her, right? Everything they're saying is correct. So I can hear their grievances there. But then when they just start doing the whole fan stuff, I'm like, come on. I'm like, really? Do we need this right now? Yeah, it just muddies it, right? But I'm interested to see, because you're right. Like, yes, Riho came out to help. But where do the alliances lie? Because there's a lot of history between those women, right? But do they have enough respect to get past that? And one last thing, Tony Storm, that Storm Zero still looks absolutely terrible every time you hit it. Every time, it looks like she's just falling over, right? So I'm like, please just stop it. Change your move. Like I hate it so much. Just change it. Yeah, I just thought that this segment, it did what it needed to do to move the story along, but it's still kind of slow, right? A little slow. So I'm willing to give it a chance, but we'll see where it goes.
Yeah, John Moxley's middle of the match basic pile driver looks way more vicious than a Storm Zero by a mile. So yeah. What I liked about this one, I got to see Riho.
Yeah.
So that's great. She came out finally. And the stare down she had with Britt, because she was talking to her like, Britt, blah, blah, blah. And Britt's looking at her like, I don't think so. And they're looking at each other. And then Britt just looks at her, and her and Jamie bail out of the ring, right? I liked that because they're not just lining it up, obviously.
Yeah.
Like, it's not 5-on-3, it's 3 and 2 and 3. right? Because I think what the Outcasts are going to do is play divide and conquer.
Mm-hmm.
Because they've got a
Yeah.
divide, now they can conquer, right? I don't
Yeah.
think it's going to be as simple. And I guess we'll just see what happens. There's lots of women in this division that we don't
Mm-hmm.
hear from very often. So you never know who's going to show up on whose side when. So
Serena Deeb, Serena Deeb, Serena Deeb.
yeah, I know, right? Where is Serena Deep? She needs to be with Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter. That would make a
Oh,
really
Jimmy's
good
so
three
good.
on three. And then I want to see those three take on Riho, Willow Nightingale, and Sky Blue.
What about Sheeta? Where's Sheeta gonna fit in?
I don't know. That's a good question. I'm telling you, I still want the Emi Sakura, Riho, and Hikaru Shida faction.
That could work.
Yeah, I'd
That
be
could work.
totally down for that. Anyway, we then get Daddy Magic and Cool Hand Angelo Parker in the back, and they tell the Acclaim to watch them versus the Bollywood Boys. And
Yeah.
that's going to happen on Rampage. They're going to face the Bollywood Boys, and Ray Phoenix is challenging Hobbs.
I know. I saw that. I was
Yeah, poor
like
Ray.
when Ray tried when he was giving his background, like I've done this. I used to sell T-shirts and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like I felt like my love for the Lucha Brothers. Like that's why I was like, yeah, Ray, I'm with you here, Ray. I know you're gonna lose. You're gonna do what you have to do because you know what, you're a good soldier, and I like that about you. I hope Tony Khan signs you forever because yeah,
Yep.
you're awesome.
He got his 60 seconds on Dynamite
Yeah,
tonight.
and now
Yeah.
he's gonna go fight on Rampage and lose, but he's gonna put on a hell of a match because he can, right?
Yep.
I'm just glad to see Ray Phoenix. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, all right, cool.
I know, right? Like Lucha Brothers.
Yep.
Well, that brings us to our main event of the evening, which, if you've all been following along with Process of Elimination, is also clearly Krishna's my match of the night.
Mm-hmm.
So let's do it. The
Yep.
House of Black comes out first. Then the Elite comes out. And the Elite gets a massive ovation. I should be more specific. Kenny Omega gets a massive
Yep.
ovation because this crowd breaks into a deafening Kenny chant. I mean, deafening. It drowns the music out,
Yep.
deafening Kenny
Yep.
chant. The Jericho Appreciation Society comes out last. They point out Ted Irvin is, in fact, in the crowd. That is
Hmm.
Jericho's dad, for those of you who don't know. And the crowd is singing very loudly. Though I can safely say I did not hear chants for Jericho that were as loud as
That's
those
Kenny.
chants for Kenny when he came out. So just
That was my
saying.
point earlier. Just saying.
Yes. This match starts with a holy shit chant. So there you go. Sammy starts against Brody King. Sammy tags when his moves have absolutely no effect at all. Garcia has the same problem. Garcia goes to try to tag out. No one's there. He goes to tag one of the Elite. They all bail. They're like, you're on your own. So finally he gets to tag Jericho. But when he does, Brody tags in Malaki. So
Mhm.
Omega then blind tags Malaki, and the crowd goes nuts because now you got Omega facing off against Jericho. But the House of Black swarms the ring to a bunch of boos and a brawl. Lots of bees in that, and a brawl breaks out with the House of Black. They actually win the brawl 3-on-6 until King and Jericho are back in the ring. King is unstoppable versus Jericho, while we see the House of Black still beating on the Elite outside. They all finally return to their corners, and that seems to be when it comes back from commercial. Malaki tags in. Jericho goes for Judas effect. Malaki dodges. Jericho dodges the black mask and hits a double underhook backbreaker, tagging in Garcia. Sammy tags in. They double team Malaki until Nick Jackson tags in. He drops Garcia and Guevara with the Escalera arm drag head scissors. Does a facebuster on Malaki, but Matthews lawn darts Nick into Malachi's knee. Yeesh. Matthews tags in. Nick hits an Enziguri and tags Omega, who hits a diving cross body. Then there's Snapdragons on Malaki and King. He hits the "You Can't Escape" on Matthews, followed by a Hurricane Rana, and Jericho tags in, leaving it Omega versus Jericho. The House of Black tries to interrupt, and Jericho and Omega work together to stop them. They finally go at it, the two of them. Omega hits a V trigger, starting a waterfall. Omega goes for the V trigger on Matthews. But Jericho puts the walls on Omega, and the Bucks interrupt with a super kick partay on everyone until Brody King takes the Bucks down with a double lariat, and everyone's down, and I catch a breath. Jericho and Omega start fighting again until both are down again. Fight forever chant breaks out at this point. They battle. Jericho goes for a springboard lariat on the apron. Omega dodges. Jericho lands on the floor. Omega hits the Terminator dive on Jericho. The House of Black tried to stop Omega, but Nick stops them. The Bucks climb to the turnbuckles, but the Jericho Appreciation Society cuts them off. Garcia then hits a superplex. Guevara hits a Spanish fly. Brody King goes to the top now, but Omega catches him. King fights him off, but Jericho catches him. He shoves Jericho off the turnbuckle now, but Omega hits a V trigger. So Jericho and Omega team up to hit a superplex on him. Jericho then hits the codebreaker on Omega for a near fall. In the back, they cut to a scene with the Dark Order and Blackpool Combat Club brawling. Now, they point out that Evil Luna had to be taken to the hospital and Stu Grayson went with them. So this leaves only John Silver and Alex Reynolds fighting against the Blackpool Combat Club, and Hangman is helping. Jericho goes for a lion salt, but Omega gets his knees up, tags Matt, who hits the locomotion Northern Lights, ending in a double Northern Lights to Garcia and Guevara. They set up for the Meltzer driver, but Jericho cuts off Nick, codebreakering him in midair. Shooting star by Guevara gets a 2 on Matt. Brody King tags back in and cannonballs Guevara and Garcia. Then a senton on Guevara. He tosses Guevara into the corner and wants Jericho, who comes in. Like, they just call out Jericho. They're like, yeah, we might have beaten Guevara, but screw that. We want Jericho. They land Dante's Inferno on Jericho, but Omega interrupts the pin. He tells Jericho to get up. Jericho has the bat, nails King. Guevara hits a shooting star press to the floor, wiping out almost everybody, but Jericho can only get a 2 on King. Malaki then hits the black mask on Jericho, who falls out of the ring. Matthews is tagged in. Dante's Inferno to Garcia, and it's over.
So, okay. So, obviously, I love this match, but I was confused. At what point did Garcia get tagged in?
I didn't see it.
Right? So I think there may have been a miss there, because when they pinned him, I'm like, but Jericho's the legal man, not Garcia.
I thought Jericho was the legal man.
And that's what confused me. I was like, wait a minute. Because if you look, when Jericho falls out of the ring, Garcia looks down as if he maybe was meant to tag before he flew out of the ring. And then he jumps in, and then they hit him with Dante's Inferno, and he gets pinned, which makes sense. But I'm like, but wait, Garcia wasn't the legal man though. So then, anyways, who cares?
Yeah.
You know what? That the House of Black, this was like, not only House of Black, everyone. This was a great showing. Like, the whole point about these two Canadian guys are going to be basically made of fools in their hometown. No, that was not the case. Like, Jericho had a really good showing. I was actually pretty impressed with Jericho. Kenny, my God. Malaki, like, freaking Buddy Matthews catching Nick and shooting him back at Malaki. I was like,
I know.
I've
So
never
cool.
seen Nick get caught on that ever. Right? It's always his combination. He goes for it and he lands it. Oh, no, he got caught. The whole what's his name? Brody being unstoppable, right? Like, every guy in this match did something. Even, hey, Garcia and Guevara. Like, Guevara's just, come on, Guevara is Guevara. This guy is so good. But I like the whole Garcia and Guevara doing their moves on Brody King, and it's doing absolutely nothing to him. They're so and the Jericho Appreciation Society poses in the ring. My God, like, I just burst out laughing every time they do their stupid poses. That's the sports entertainment I like. I don't like these celebrations that go on forever, right?
Or music videos that I never needed to see.
Yeah, something we never asked for. What a great showing. What a great, like, if I'm a fan, again, if I was a fan there tonight, seeing Jericho, seeing Omega, they both lost, I would have still went home happy.
Oh yeah.
Still would have went home happy. What a great showing. Like, the House of Black, it seems like an unbeatable team. They seem like, think about it. You had it basically like it's a 9-man tag, I guess, but two top teams couldn't take them out. Could not take them out, right? They beat them both. It was a fair win, right? Hey, Jericho's team cheated, and they they lost, right? So think
Right.
about that. They hit Brody. It was Brody, right, with the bat.
Yep.
Yeah.
The bat.
And they lost.
Mm-hmm.
So that's interesting. So House of Black came out powerful, and we're gonna talk about what happened after the match. But
Yes.
the right team won. The match was fantastic. I love this match. I absolutely loved it. So that my match of the night, easily.
Oh yeah. Yeah. No. All the moves. I mean, you've said it all. All the
Yeah.
moves. All the stuff. All the cool stuff. The right amount of sports entertainment versus like,
Mm-hmm.
but the three guys who were doing that can all wrestle their asses off. So Sammy and Garcia teaming up together on multiple occasions during this
Mm-hmm.
match. It was great. Brawls around the ring. Great moves in the ring. The Bucks being the Bucks. It was good stuff. Right. I mean, the only thing I was like is it was like eating a Chinese buffet. You know,
Yeah.
like you can sample everything, but I wanted something more. Like I want to see
Well,
all, but that was good.
that was good.
Because
That was
yeah,
good. Yeah.
like I want to see more. I want to see like some of these guys now paired off more. I want to see
Mm-hmm.
like more. I want to see House of Black versus JAS just straight
Same.
up. I think
Same.
that would be great. Yeah, I don't know. I want to see more of these
Well, that's
matchups.
because if you look back at the House of Black versus the Elite for the championship, it was better than this match. It was
Mhm.
better than this match. Like it just overall
Oh yeah, of course.
cleaner, tighter,
Yeah.
everything. Like the show. But obviously you have three teams here, so there's only so
Yeah,
much you
it
can
was
do,
quite
right?
chaotic for sure,
Yes.
right? That's why I was
Yes.
like, even
Very
at the end, I'm like,
chaotic.
maybe I just missed Garcia's pin, right? Or their
Yeah.
tag, right? Like it's
No,
quite
I
possible
didn't
I
see it.
just totally missed it.
I didn't see it. So
Yeah, well, there you go. But anyway, no,
yeah.
it was great match in spite of some of
Mm-hmm.
the chaos. Well put together.
Mm-hmm.
Well done. Everyone got to shine. They really knew how to bring Jericho and Omega together. Like they understand it's their hometown, so they still had a really good showing in spite of it. Neither one of them took the pin. It was the right guy took the pin. Daniel
Yeah.
Garcia takes the fall, right? Most likely guy in the ring and during this match to actually eat the pin, and he did. And that's completely fine. The House of Black retains, which they should. We got a wonderful match in the right
Mm-hmm.
town. Solid booking. Kudos. Way to go, Tony Khan. You booked
Yeah.
this
Good
one
job.
properly. All credit, to you and the Bucks and whoever else put this match together, which I'm sure all the people involved in it had a hand in it. So good job, guys. Great match. I would have put this one around about 4.5 stars,
Yeah. Yeah.
four
Fair.
and a
That's a
quarter.
fair.
Yeah, somewhere in
Yeah.
that
I say
neighborhood.
that's fair. Yeah.
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 Yep. Excellent match. So then we get the end. Jake Hager
Mm-hmm.
comes storming down to the ring. And after checking on his guys, he then attacks the House of Black in the ring, which of course was dumb until everyone else shows up and a brawl starts in the ring. But then on the ramp, the Blackpool Combat Club and Dark Order and Hangman show up brawling together there, and they're making their way down to the ring too. So you've got this brawl, and what ends up happening after a little bit of messing around, you've got a Hangman standing in the ring alone, facing the three members of the Blackpool Combat Club, and then the Elite jumps in behind Hangman to a massive ovation from the crowd. The Blackpool Combat Club looks at them, bails, and start to go off. And Hangman, not realizing why they've bailed, slowly turns around, and the show goes off the air before he even finishes turning around.
Yeah, yeah. So that was kind of cool. Like when Hangman ended up in the ring by himself, I'm like, where are they going with this? And then when the Elite slid in, I was like, whoa, are they getting back is the band getting back together? Like I was like, oh my God, like this is cool. And then the turn as he's turning, they cut the feed.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, ooh, interesting. That's
Yes.
that's interesting cut they did there. Yeah. Where do we go from here? Because hey, there are multiple opponents. There's
Mm-hmm.
Blackpool Combat Club, the House of Black, the JAS. Like, look at this. Like, remember all that tag division that we spoke so highly of that they've
Mm-hmm.
just thrown to the side? Hopefully to be repaired very shortly. This trios division is pretty damn exciting
I
with
know,
the
right?
teams
Screw,
they
screw
have
the
here.
tag division. Because let's not forget too, the Dark Order was there.
The Dark Order was there, exactly.
Yes.
This
And they've
trios
been
division.
stellar in this trio stuff
Mm-hmm.
too. So,
Mm-hmm.
give them their due. It's time for them to get a little bit of a rise. I'd love to see ultimately them be the one to take the belts off the House of Black somewhere down the road. Give them a really long reign with these belts. And then somewhere down the road, when, Stu Grayson's finally signed again, him and Evil Uno, and I don't know, pick John Silver, Alex Reynolds,
Yeah.
Pick one of the two. Take the belts.
I'm with you. Like it's such a like so many storylines, and I love how they just briefly mentioned Forbidden Door coming to Toronto, and then they just went right past it after it. I'm like, okay, cool,
Yep.
all right. But I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, this is interesting. Like I'm of course it's way too early to start announcing matches. We know that, but making the announcement, like I don't know, like I'm just curious. Hangman and the Elite, like it's so weird, right?
Yeah,
Because
well, there
remember,
was the picture during Being the Elite that he left it turned around on his shelf, right?
hmm hmm
After
yes, that's
talking
true.
on the banana on the phone to Evil Uno.
I hunged him. I hunged
Hank,
I can't
so
help but
good. It was
hung.
so good.
hung. He's so good. The millennial cowboy. I love him so much. He's so
Yep.
awesome. I love
Yep.
Hangman. But yeah, no. This was a good show for Winnipeg. Good Winnipeg. You got a good show. You got an awesome like main event. You got an okay match with Orange Cassidy, and you got a really good match with the trios, like the Hangman and his crew versus Blackpool Comic Club. So you got some, like, even though it was like only 4 matches, yeah, I mean you got a good show, right?
Yes,
So
and in spite of that, one of the matches was ranked 7th.
that's right. You got a match that was literally seventh out of four.
Well, I mean, like I said, right? We did have some matches on videos.
Mm-hmm.
And you
That's
can also
that's
count
very
in
true.
there the match between Aaron Solo
Mhm.
and Wardlow's rental car. That was also a better match than Jade Cargill.
Very true. Very true. The Winnipeg Jets posted a picture of Don Callis, Chris Jericho, and Kenny Omega with they all have their own Winnipeg jerseys, and they titled it "He Just Made the List." So I'm like, okay. I'm like, good on you, Jets. That's cool. But yeah, I am curious of the storylines and stuff, and think about who wasn't there. Like, no Takeshita, because apparently all he does is elevation. Like there was a lot of people. Like, listen, I really enjoyed the opening of the show and the closing of the show. Right? I really enjoyed the opening and closing. And
Yeah.
yeah, I guess sandwiched in there was well, I guess not really sandwiched because it was the first match. So yeah, I enjoyed the opening of the show, the first couple things that happened, and the closing. Everything else, I was like, yeah, whatever,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I mean, and yeah, the opening, the Blackpool, yeah, if you're talking about
Hmm.
the opening match, yeah, the opening
Yeah.
segment was good.
Hmm. Yeah, those like the
The
opening and then
end,
the
yeah,
ending.
exactly. No, the last match was phenomenal. And then some stuff happened between the two. It was
Yeah,
like eating a sandwich, but the bread is like really, really good. But the stuff in between the bread is just
yeah,
kind of it's okay. It's okay.
yeah.
Lettuce might be a
See,
little wilty in places, but But yeah, I mean, overall, was there anything on the show that hit the Omega level?
I'm thinking, like I even though the Omega match didn't hit the Omega level, like I kind of feel like what happened at the opening segments may have gotten really close to the Omega level. Just bringing those three, well, four guys, I'm including MJF, having those four guys out there saying what they said about each other, I was like, holy crap. And I think the Omega level segment, or I would say I would give like an Omega level award would be to Darby Allin tonight, because Darby Allin spoke directly to me when he called out the BS about what's happening in the background, people crying about going on Twitter and then calling out Max or yeah, MJF on the bidding war of 2024.
Yep.
Right. And how much of a shit show that actually
Yeah.
is, right? I loved it. And I thought you are hitting the nail right on the head here. Right. So I would say that segment just showing me where it's going now, I would give it a mega level rating.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? You're not far. And here's the interesting thing that came to me while you're doing it, right? Because I really related to Jungle Boy's promo,
Hmm.
right? Like, although I heard Darby's, and I'm like, that's really good. I appreciate what he's saying, right? It's like you said, he was speaking to you, whereas Jungle Boy was more speaking to me,
Hmm.
right? Because I was kind of like, yeah, Jungle Boy's paid his dues. He's been
Yeah.
on Dark. He's been on Elevation, and this butthead over here hasn't done squat, right?
Yeah.
He just gets everything handed to him. And I mean, where I come from, that speaks volumes. You pay your dues. You work your way, right? You do what's right. And MJF hasn't done any of that. He's like
Yeah.
the little rich boy in college who like had everything handed to him and gets his marks because his daddy knows the school administrator or something like that,
Yeah.
right? Like I just I it for me, I was just like, yeah, I
But
love that.
even Sammy as well. That's
Yep.
why I said the
Yeah, see,
segment, right?
Sammy's
Because
took the I've worked hard, it's all
yeah,
me approach,
yeah,
right? Which is
yeah,
also like it's a slightly different tack
hmm,
than the one Jungle Boy took. They all
yeah,
had three different opinions, and all three of them were correct going
yeah.
after MJF, which basically means MJF is a pile of hot garbage.
That's it. That's it, right?
Yes. I don't mean he's
And
bad. What I'm saying about that is that it makes him a good heel.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Like, listen, we're not judging MGF on what he's had or what he hasn't done or whatever. We're basing on what we know, right? And we know that these three guys have worked their butts off, like through the independence. Like even
Mm-hmm.
Sammy saying, I had to work these different jobs just to get by, right? Naming the places that he's a young guy who's worked and he made it. Heck,
Mm-hmm.
we saw Sammy at a OEW show, right?
OWE, yes.
OW, oh
The
yeah,
now
the OWE show.
defunct
Yeah,
OWE, yes.
yeah, OWE show that he was amazing there, right? So seeing him from there coming up, we know he's put time in, right? We know it hasn't been easy for this guy, right? Same
Mm-hmm.
with Jungle Boy. Yeah, people say, "Oh, well, Jungle Boy, your dad was Luke Perry." Yeah, but Jungle Boy still went through what an indie wrestler would have to go through to get where he is. He just
Well,
wasn't
yes.
handed this,
That would be
right?
like someone saying to Chris Jericho, "Your dad was an NHL
Yeah,
player." Like, how
yeah,
the hell does that help you in
exactly.
professional wrestling?
Well, that's it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But maybe opening doors because remember they were saying, oh, Luke Perry really enjoyed professional wrestling. He would
Mm-hmm.
get his son backstage and stuff like that, and whatever. And then there's Darby Allin. Then this is the thing with Darby Allin. Darby Allin doesn't really have any connection to wrestling. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
he's like a Sammy. Like he came through independence, right? Um this is the kid who like almost died in a car accident and has now shaped his entire life to this trying to kill himself apparently. Um and I'll give you I'll agree with you there. Bill, 2018, 2019, where were these guys on the mic?
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Like MGF called it out. Hey, you have Jericho, you have Sting, you have you have Christian. But what has that done for them? Like what it did was what we saw tonight.
Mm-hmm.
What we saw tonight is what it did for them,
Well, yeah,
right?
exactly. Do you know what the genius part of this is too? They've made MJF look like he just bought his way into AEW like he was nothing, and yet the man has a many-year career in the
Oh yeah.
independents too.
Oh yeah.
It's
Oh
like
yeah, we
it's
know.
it's not like ultimately like in real life he
No.
hasn't paid his dues or anything like that,
Yeah.
right? He's just masterful at this character,
Yeah.
right? And there is enough truth though in what they're saying about him. He's whining
Yeah.
is, oh,
Oh,
I'm
there's
not
a lot.
coming
Yeah.
unless I get the contract I want, the
Hmm.
bidding war of 2024. I mean, look, he may have paid his dues in the Indies, but then he became a whiny brat,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
And I mean, if any of that stuff is true about him, like wanting to walk out, demanding a better contract and all this, you're a bitch, buddy. You're a bitch.
Yeah.
End
Yeah.
of story. Because whatever. Okay, fine. You negotiated a better deal. And hey, kudos. You made money. You made money,
Yeah.
dude. Good job. Because I guess that's what it's all about. But as I've heard someone that I know pretty well say a lot of the time, it's not about just making the money. It's about how many bodies you leave in your wake.
Mm-hmm. So
So,
and that's it, right? And and
yeah.
and, and like I honestly for me is like when Darby said there is no other place for him than
Hmm.
AEW, right? So
Yep.
see when people say that kind of stuff, I'm like, you know what, Darby, I got you, man. I got you. I'll support you because they remember where they came from, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to just jump to WWE or something else because they're offering them more
Right.
money. They're there for what they love doing. So
Oh yeah, yeah. This
yeah,
segment was great. Yeah, I would agree with you that I'm not sure if I would put the segment quite at the Omega level, but I think it has Omega potential in the
mhm,
sense that it
mhm,
can lead now to a lot of things
yeah,
that could definitely be on that level. That's probably how I would see it. It's
yeah,
like the opening to what could become a much more intriguing MJF storyline.
storyline. Agreed. I
Yeah.
I agree with you. Yeah.
Yep, and I like it because it's all the young guys. It's all the young guys.
Same.
About time. They're
There was
building the stars. Yep.
no one there. Jericho, Sting,
Yeah.
Christian, no one
None
else.
of
No
them.
one was out
Nope.
there.
Yeah, Darby didn't even come out with Sting, right? So I mean,
Hmm.
it was pretty great. Pretty great. No, loved it a lot. But as the god of Winnipeg, the man who should have the entire city named after
Yeah.
him, you can go find Jericho Way in Omega, Manitoba. As the great one always says, goodbye, everybody. Mwah, and good night. Bang.
Good night, everyone.